Woodward is probably having deja vu. He wrote about the intricate negotiations between Obama and Boehner over the debt ceiling in 2011 and the fiscal cliff last year in a book called The Price of Politics. The paperback version is out now. Bob, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Good to see you. So in this afterword, you write about the 2012 negotiation.
The most recent one.
The most recent one. Now, having covered the 2011 one as a White House correspondent, I was hoping it would get better between Boehner and Obama. But as you read the 2011 and then the afterword about 2012, and then you see this, it seems to be getting worse.
Yes, and it makes your head hurt because, the Speaker's Chief of Staff, Mike Summers, is quoted in the book saying that we, the Republicans in the House, are primarily a blocking majority. That means they're playing defense, they're going to stop things. And you see now they tried to reach down to something that wasn't just blocking, but to change Obamacare. They have backed off from that strategy. I think that is the good news here. And they're willing to do something on the debt ceiling, at least for 6 weeks. The problem is, I'm not sure Boehner and the president have closed the deal so they have a working relationship, which is what you need in a sensitive negotiation like this.
And what fell through? You paint a very vivid picture, and I remember this from 2011, of Boehner looking at Obama and thinking he's constantly moving the goalposts in the negotiations. He says he wants $800 billion in new taxes, but he actually, then he comes next time and asks for $1.2 trillion. And then Obama looking at Boehner and saying, this guy can't deliver his caucus. He's negotiating, but he doesn't really speak for his group. And these problems are infecting this relationship.
They are, and if you've ever been in a negotiation, if you're married, and that's a negotiation.
I just fold on everything.
No, but you don't. But what you learn is that the person on the other side of the table is your best friend, because that's the person who can give you what you want and what you have to have. But to get to that point, you need to spend lots of time, and unfortunately, they have not spent the time on this. And what we're in now is the third round. It was 2011, 2012, and what happened, if we can kind of slow this down for a moment, in 2011, the first debt ceiling negotiation, Boehner swept the table. He got all win, $2.4 trillion in spending cuts. Obama essentially got nothing. In the second round in 2012, Obama swept the table and got $625 billion in new revenue, and there were just minuscule, almost unmeasurable spending cuts. So you have an environment that is winner take all. First round, it's Boehner. Second round, it's Obama. And they're in this face-off where they don't sit down and say, like other people do in negotiations, one for you, one for me.
You write in the book, kind of predicting what we're going through right now. You write that aides who were involved in previous conversations, quote, are frightened because there are too few conversations between the White House and the Republicans, and there is insufficient framework or history to suggest how they might succeed in the next round, which is sure to come by the end of 2013. Tell me where you see an opening for there to be a solution here.
Well, first of all, what's happened here, they were trying to blackmail Obama on Obamacare, and he rightly drew a red line on that, and that's off the table. And so what you're going to see here is, and this is kind of at the core of what a president has to do, he has to govern. And if this is a calamity, if we run into some sort of economic meltdown, it's going to be in the Obama presidency that this occurred. And I write, there's a scene that Ruth Marcus at the Post wrote a column on yesterday about Obama realizing that it's kind of the King Solomon moment. You can't be the mother who divides the baby. That a president, because he has to lead the whole country, Republicans and Democrats, is constrained. And he acknowledged to his aides, and when I interviewed him, he said, well, I didn't say this publicly, but the reality was he was in a weak position because he knew he had to make a deal. The Republicans, at least up to this moment, have kind of said, oh no, we're going after Obamacare. The taking that off the table is a big moment in this, and so you see the stock market, people are smart about that. There's hope, light at the end of the tunnel. Now, who knows? These people don't have, and this is where I take kind of a view right in the center. They have not established the kind of relationship where they can call each other, where they can meet, where they can kind of bare their soul, where they can kind of say, look, I have to have this, I understand you've got to have that. And in this book, you can see there's some ideas that they both have, believe it or not, that would be good for the country, be good for everyone. For instance, entitlement cuts.
Right, everybody agrees that the current stage of these social safety net programs is on an unsustainable path.
Totally unsustainable. And when I interviewed the president about this for the book, he said, oh yes, it's bad politics for Democrats, but then he went on to say it's untenable to not do this. Now, how much have we cut or reformed entitlements in the Obama presidency? Zero. They need to get on with that task. This is where Paul Ryan maybe has come up with a good idea. We need to
big
say,
bargain, yeah.
Yeah, well, at least do some reform on entitlements and do something that's really serious about tax reform. That's what needs to be fixed.
All right, legendary Washington Post newsman Bob Woodward, thank you so much.
Thank you.